Joining me now is Angela Hager, and she's going to share with us a little bit about this year's Healing Field of Honor and a special addition to the site.
I am. The Healing Field began in 2009 as a way to honor the men and women who have served and continue to serve our country. So there were 2009 flags up on Rotary Hill. And it's put together by a committee of volunteers, and they thought, this would be a great thing to put on every 3 years.
So this was the third time the event was put on?
Yes, so there were 2015 flags up on Rotary Hill. And this time it's also a little bit different. The Department of Defense has a program commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And the Healing Field Committee took a lot of inspiration from that and came up with the theme, 50 Years of Healing.
Well, that's great. Let's take a look at this year's 50 Years of Healing.
Zero 100 680 100.
So I get to LAX, and a young lady come up about this high, dressed in an orange muumuu, and she says, "You're a Marine?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "You're a Vietnam vet?" "Yes, ma'am." And she spit in my face. So I turned to the bar, and the bartender looked at me. He says, "You're a Marine?" I said, "Yeah." "You're from Vietnam?" I said, "Yeah." "Can I buy a drink?"
Jack Shiffler's story is not unique. In 1966, the Marine was in Vietnam, serving as what he would call a grunt, or an infantryman. He spent a year at war before returning home, and like many returning veterans, he was not given a warm homecoming.
They weren't necessarily welcomed back in our country in the way that we welcome back veterans today. And I felt very strongly that we needed to make sure we let them know how much we appreciate the sacrifices they and their families have made in going on today with our current servicemen and women.
The Healing Field Committee wanted to honor Vietnam veterans. Their first thought? Bring a traveling Vietnam Wall replica to Naperville.
We did call, we did inquire about it, and the cost was somewhere around $10,000 to have the wall here.
I said at the meeting, I think I can build one of these things. As we started talking about what the cost would be and how to do this, I said, you know what, I'm going to donate it.
The Naperville Park District constructed the wall, with Blooming Color donating the printed panels. Stretching from the Carillon to the Riverwalk Eatery, the 240-foot-long wall is a 60% scaled-down replica of the original monument, complete with the more than 58,000 names inscribed, including the 11 from Naperville.
I have a lot of friends on that wall. And when people come down, they will see the dedication we have to the 12th from Naperville. 12th is the ones that were never on it. That's why we say 12th.
And this is an honor to families too, because they're the ones that struggled through this and still do in some cases.
This is the first time, from what I understand, in the entire country that a community has actually built their own Vietnam Wall for any particular event.
Standing before the wall can stir up a lot of memories and emotions.
First time I went to the wall in DC was probably about probably 12, 15 years ago now. I could feel what felt to me like angels flying over me. And I told my wife, I said, "We gotta get out of here." I said, that was emotionally unbelievable for me.
It's hard to explain what it felt like when you served your country and nobody seemed to give a damn. And that's part of the reason that we built this wall. And let the families know that we respect our dead and we'll do what we can for them.
As a police officer of 28 years, I would never ever put myself in the same boots as the men and women of the military. But the one thing we do have similar is we run towards the fight that away. And the 58,000 plus men and women ran towards the fight.
The wall is to commemorate those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. But the Healing Field is about more than one conflict.
But it's about every person that's ever served in every branch of service, every war and every conflict. It's about them. This Healing Field of Honor is dedicated to them, to those who've served, those who've paid the ultimate price.
After Veterans Day, the wall came down, but it won't be forgotten. It will have new life in the community by educating future generations.
It's hard to put it all together in words, but now that we do have our own replica. We can take these to the schools and show the kids, the ones that can't get down to Washington, D.C.
For our youngsters to look up to that wall and say, my God, you mean all these people died? All these people went to war to protect us? I think that's important.
The people of Naperville should be extremely proud of what this community does. Nowhere else that I've ever been does the things that we do here in Naperville.
Reporting for 630, I'm Angela Hager.